What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm Greg Miller, and this is my group of friends. Right here, the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, hello.
Hello, yes. That's
Can
how
you hear me?
microphones work.
Can you hear me?
You've been
You
on your
sound
retirement
lovely.
vacation too long.
Hashtag retirement vacation.
What is hashtag retirement vacation all about?
I'm on vacation all week, and the theme of the vacation is retirement. So I'm pretending like I'm actually retired. So I've been getting up every morning, going to the diner down in the inner Sunset that I really like, and I'll read the news with the old people sitting at the counter, which is a lot of fun.
Do they know you by name yet? Do you hang your hat when you come in?
No, I'm just like, hello, how are you?
Do you do it in a disgruntled fashion, though? So, like, no matter what the news story is, you're disappointed with it?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to be a little angry, a little more curmudgeonly.
Do you do
which
like
is
because you're such
hard
a positive
to believe,
person?
hard to believe that I could be more.
So when you're reading, like, a story about, like a fire that saved, like, kids, or you just like...
Yeah, you got to do that heavy sigh.
I'm just not agreeing with anything.
Are you drinking coffee or drinking the diner cups of coffee? You got to do that. That's a staple.
I don't like coffee.
I love diner.
I know you don't, but you got to do it. You got to do it if you're going to be
I'm
an
not
old
that
man
committed to retirement vacation, I guess.
Okay.
Otherwise, no, I've just been hanging out, not doing anything. Going to San Diego in a couple of days.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, right?
No.
Isn't that how days
Friday.
work? I thought you left Thursday.
No, Friday night.
All right,
Friday morning, yeah.
All right. Then, of course, the producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hi, everyone.
How are
Thanks
you?
for joining us. I'm doing well, thanks, Greg.
Good to see you.
Good to see
Beer's
you, too.
looking good.
Thanks. It's full.
Yeah.
It's going in for a trimming this weekend.
Who trims it?
I do it.
You're sending it in?
Okay, I was going to say
that's
that's
in a Rocco beard trimmer, but I gotta get a haircut, and I can't decide whether I should go super short on the sides, keep it long on top, and then just have the beard be big, or do my normal thing where no matter what I do, it looks exactly the same. You know what I mean?
I mean, it always looks awesome, though.
Yeah, but like sometimes I just like I'll tell the girl, I'm like, hey, I want sort of like a kind of like a Justin Timberlake, sort of like a Jason Sudeikis from the Circa Academy Award when he showed up with a very lovely and very pregnant Olivia Wilde.
They're in love.
They have a disgustingly good relationship. I'm so jealous of both of their success and their looks. Anyway, so I'm probably just gonna go with something short. Like just a little long on top, short on the sides. That's it.
That's fun. I recently saw a video of us from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We were in a cameo appearance in Cheap, Cool, Crazy.
Oh, the hit Start show.
Start.
That was a hit show.
And there's a clip of me and you walking out of an elevator, and we both look like we are 10.
Did I have the beard? I didn't have the beard, did I?
You couldn't have had the beard if you were 10.
It was crazy. You were beardless.
It's kind of the point of the beard.
Hair was different.
Yeah, someone on Twitter pulled a clip from Up at Noon when I was in the intro for it.
Yeah.
I think I was talking about Game of Thrones and how it's the best game ever.
It's the only game that matters.
It's the only game that matters. Thank you, Tim. And I didn't have the beard. And I was like, I look disgusting without a beard. My beard is so much better than my non-beard.
Does the wife like it?
She likes it. She doesn't like when it becomes unruly like it is right now.
What's that? Where it's just creeping north of the
Well,
border?
it starts to go here, and then you get the over the lip beard,
don't
where
do
you
that.
can kind of play with it. And she doesn't
Gross.
like when I talk that it kind of dips in the mouth. And then you get the wings on the side here is just starting to look where if I fluff it out a little bit, it's a little too long. See, that's the problem with my beard is it doesn't get full, it gets long.
Yeah.
And then I have to like kind of coif it back into place, so it's like
Get some of that hair gel and put it in there.
So I think I gotta shave it down a little bit, but we'll see what happens after this weekend. We'll see next week
All
what
right.
I look like.
Then, I was going to say beardless, but you have a beard too. The pure one, Tim Gettys.
Tim, I like your shirt today.
Thank you. It's
This
new.
is new.
It's
It is
very
new.
nice.
Yeah. My friend was doing an interview, so we had to buy a new shirt. And I was with him, and I'm like, well, I want to buy a nicer shirt than the one you're buying, so I bought this one. Yeah.
That's not fair.
I know.
You're like, you're trying to get a job, but I have so much money.
Yeah. So,
Maybe it gives him something to look forward to.
yeah, exactly.
That works.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy show. Every week, 4 best friends gather around this table, each bringing a random topic of discussion to discuss with each other. If you like that, you should like the video, subscribe to us over on youtube.com/GameOverGreggy. But if you really like the show, you can wait every Friday. We put up the MP3 at GameOverGreggy.bandcamp.com. The full show, every topic, right there for $1, days early. Then over on that YouTube channel I just mentioned, you get it day by day, topic by topic, until Friday we post the entire shebang for your approval.
Greg, I'm sorry, but I'm
Yeah.
a little distracted right now.
Yeah, you should be.
Your shirt's really nice.
Thank you. You're not the only one with a nice new shirt here, everybody. This literally is just out of the package. The new Sean Finnegan Likes Hiking.
There it is.
Game Over Greggy T. Oh, God. At districtlines.com/GameOverGreggy. Oh, he's come back from... he's come back from bigger hits than there. But look, it's green. It pops.
looks
I
great. It
really,
really
like the logo.
pops. It really
Another Nick
pops.
Scarpino production. Good job.
No, that actually was
good job.
Mike Noss actually.
I can't believe I just raised your
that.
hand, you fucking whore. You didn't do anything for this shirt.
I put the logo together and I picked the color scheme, but Mike Noss actually was one of the designers. Well, the designer, not one of them. It was like a whole team. We had a whole team of people back behind us.
We cut to like the Game Over OverGreggy t-shirt shop. People have like beakers and stuff. They're pouring in smoke and all this crap.
But yeah, Mike is on Twitter. You can hit him up. I think it's at Mike Noss, and thank him for this sign. If you like it, if you hate it, let him know you hated it, and don't do that. Don't put out negative.
If you like it, the best way to not like it is to go to districtlines.com/GameOverGreggy and buy them all.
Yeah,
buy them all and burn them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a perfect example. If you don't like it, buy 30 of them and burn them. Just buy us out.
Or just buy the other shirt so we see how unpopular the Sean Finnegan shirt is.
That's true. We do have other shirts, right?
Yes. There's a Nick Scarpino one.
There is.
A lot of pictures of that going around
There's a
Twitter
Scarpino
right now.
Shadowboxing Association established 1990.
It's interesting. It's the most popular shirt last month by a landslide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I beat out the Colin for President one. I beat out the GameOverGreggy one. I beat out Sean Finnegan.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it.
Well, you didn't.
You're our
expect it.
golden calf. You're the one we gotta.
I'm the one whose teat you're suckling.
Yes. All day
God
long.
willing.
Oh my god.
God willing, I'll be suckling that
What
teat.
other shirts you got in your repertoire?
What do we do right now?
now?
I think that's it. We got one more on the back burner.
No, I
but-
meant
No,
what,
wait,
like
there's one more. We got the Oreo-gasm.
we got the
Oreo
Orgasm
gasm.
shirt.
Yeah.
Special
Okay, I just okay.
We got the GameOverGreggy tee, a staple on the channel. I might add. It's as classic as the Ray-Ban sunglass. Named
You know
by
the Blues
Time
Brothers
magazine.
wore GameOverGreggy shirts underneath their outfits.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
That's what killed John Belushi. Too tight.
We're on a mission from God. That's what they said. in that
106
movie.
miles to Chicago. Full tank of gas. Half
You
a
know,
pack of
in a lot of
cigarettes.
ways,
It's
you
dark.
remind me
You're wearing
of Dan
sunglasses.
Aykroyd and John Belushi.
In one.
One
I
person.
have the Dan Aykroyd height.
You do have height. You actually look a lot like a young, like when he was like skinny and fit.
No.
Dan Aykroyd.
I look like Dan Aykroyd just as he starts to turn the corner to
Yeah,
super
like
fat town.
Ghostbusters 2. Like right
yeah,
as
that's
they all,
right,
because they
right,
all
right.
started getting a little
Sucking the guts guys with the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that horrible scene.
What do you mean that horrible scene?
They come triumphantly into the museum.
Yeah.
And it's this really bad music.
It's-
and then they
it's
stop,
orchestral.
They stop there, totally self-aware of the fact that they're in a movie, which is like just totally against
No,
everything
it's
they did in the
not
first
self-aware.
one.
They're in a movie. They're the Ghostbusters showing up at this like
And
stuffy
then, like,
museum.
Two people look over at him, and then he's like, "Suck it in, guys," with the Ghostbusters, and they all try to suck in their guts. And it just reminds you of how young and awesome they were in the first one, and how everything has to die.
When I was a kid, I did
Everything
not
must
remind me
die.
of that at all.
I
Just remind me of how
like
great
that
that
movie. I just
is.
watched that movie.
Everything
the other
must
day,
die, though. That is true.
That is true. I think there's a new book right next to Everybody Poops. Everything Must Die by Colin Moriarty. Just a black cover and two red eyes on it.
George Railroad Martin.
Right next to George Railroad.
Colin
Martin.
Railroad Moriarty.
Nick, kick it off this week.
So this question's actually was submitted to us as a result of our topic last week, I believe, which was if aliens were to come to Earth, what would happen? And I think a couple of us said, well, I think it was Colin that said that would completely destroy religion, right? Like it would just completely negate everything that was written in the Bible because there'd be another creature out there that wasn't accounted for. This question's a really interesting one, though. So we all decided, okay, that would probably make us not believe in God. But this comes
I
from
didn't say that.
Kenny Ballou. Well,
You like the Jungle Book guy?
My dude Kenny?
K Ballou, and I'm not sure what he is on Twitter. I didn't write it down here, but he's on Twitter.
Everybody search for Kenny Ballou.
What would it take?
Find the Jungle Book guy.
There you go. That's
I don't watch
Baloo.
Disney films.
Ballou is the bear, right?
Yeah.
He's the one.
The bare necessity.
Yes.
That's the one. And then in the cartoons, he eventually becomes a pilot. Correct?
Yes, in Tailspin.
Oh my god, yes.
Tailspin
No,
was
that's
the
not right.
bomb.
It just
Is that
looks
not
like
him?
That
It
was
looks
Baloo.
like him, right?
That was Blue.
It cannot
Wasn't
be
it?
him.
In Tailspin?
I don't even
Dude,
like.
I feel bad that I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's blue.
No. Oh, you give
you
your
looking up?
topic. I'm looking for
The
this.
topic is this. So if aliens came and you know discredited religion and made you not necessarily believe in religion, what would it take to make you believe in God?
So this is wait. Is this related to the aliens or just in general
No,
for people
this-
who don't believe? Because I believe in God. We
What-
know Colin doesn't.
Right. What would it take to make non-believers? Like, would you need to get a sign? Would it have to be like a cross that just floated around behind you the entire time and was like, hey. You're like,
That's how God sounds, huh?
yeah, probably. I mean, that's how my mom sounds. I don't know. Colin, what would it take?
Holy
what would
shit!
you
It
need to
is
do to
Baloo.
believe?
I totally took a
Hey,
shot in the dark
that's
there, and I
awesome.
connected that the bear fucking grew up from the Jungle Book
Nope,
and learned to
he
fly.
he was old then. You're thinking Mowgli. Mowgli's the kid.
No, I'm not thinking about the kid.
He was the one that grew up. Baloo was always just 40 years
I
old.
just gotta
He
get
was
to
a
the
40-year-old
bottom of
bear.
Tailspin.
Tailspin was awesome.
So good.
It was really good. What would it take to make me believe in God?
Yeah.
I would some irrefutable proof.
Yeah.
That he
Like
exists.
what?
But what does that
Like-
mean?
like-
You like
like-
God talking the burning bush?
Yeah, I mean, like
Mean
there's-
my legs getting broken and healed?
There are things, especially in even with Jesus in the New Testament, where if I saw certain things that he did, I would believe.
Now you'd have to see those with your own eyes, right?
Yes.
Because here's my thing. I the first thought I was like, okay, I would just love to see someone descend from heaven and land. And then I'm like, wait, how would I?
What up?
Right? And they were like, yo, I'm back. But what would? Then I think I was watching that on TV most likely, and I would use that as a device to disbelieve it. Right? Like, oh, it's TV. They're totally faking it. Like a lot of people think the Apollo moon landing was a fake,
And the ET Atari thing.
and the ET Atari dig was a fake, right? Which I still don't quite understand why everyone would go through that much trouble to fake.
To sell their Xbox TV show.
Is that what it
Duh.
was?
Yeah. Sam Claiborne made some compelling. Anyway, go on.
Well, we can talk about that later at a different time. Yeah, I think I would probably need something the same, right? I would need to see God come down from the heavens.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing that always bothered me about religion. This is the questions I started asking when I went to Catholic school and didn't engender me to the nuns very much. Which was why is it Jesus says something along the lines of, blessed are those who believe without seeing, right? He says that in the New Testament, and why? But why? Like what? The whole faith, right? The word faith is having faith in something that you can't see or touch or feel, but you know exists or you think exists. That's faith. But that seems like that particular issue of faith is in every major religion. Like you can't see and you can't touch. But you just have to believe that it's there or whatever. And to me, that's not a coincidence. But that's because that there is nothing there. You know what I mean? Like, why doesn't God? Like, what about God makes him not want to make himself known? Right? Like, you can just solve everything, all of these problems. Especially if it was it was the Christian God or the Muslim God or whoever, where it's like, make yourself known and your shit's obviously legit. And it never made any sense to me where it's like, well, you have to have faith. You have to have faith that something's there because God will never make himself. Well, why not?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. And if aliens were going to invade Earth, it would be brilliant for them to act as if they were God. If they knew something about it, seriously, if they knew something about our society and are like, these people are like, there's 1 billion people on the earth that believe in Jesus Christ, and if we just pretend you're Jesus. Then we will get all their water. Seriously, we'll get no resistance. Like it will, that's
really
an interesting.
That's genius.
Yeah, I'm throwing out a good idea for fiction here. That does, if they're so smart, they can travel, intergalactically or whatever, and they arrive at Earth. They obviously know about us and they can study us and all those kinds of things. And it'll be interesting to see if they were like, well, I'm Jesus. Who are you to say that he's wrong?
He does have a really,
especially if he has powers. That's levitate stuff.
Yeah.
I love how you went powers like this, like a Sith general, or like.
I assume that's how Jesus used his powers.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's where
water to wine.
That's where I stand. I mean, an alien being able to get to Earth or whatever means that he's so hyper advanced, or it is so hyper advanced that is as close to God as we will ever see. In terms of power.
Yeah.
And we've talked, you can have telekinetic powers and all those kinds of things. And the mind gets bigger and more robust and can do more things. I mean, who knows?
But see, I feel like that would still freak me out, right? I think that would still, if I saw someone come down and was like, I'm Jesus, and he looks like Jesus, and he can shoot lightning out of his hands, I'd be like, dude, I'm terrified of this
Are
guy.
you Jesus or are you Emperor Palpatine? Because I'm confused here.
You're mixing your metaphors here a little bit, mixing your fiction. Tim, what would it take to make you believe in God?
I mean, obviously seeing something.
What?
Good.
What would he
see?
I don't know. I've
I feel like you're the kind of person
people.
that when there's a magician in front of you, you're the one that's like, I know how that trick's done. So if there was a burning bush, you'd be like, dude, kerosene in a bush.
All this stuff,
easy.
yeah. A lot of the stuff I'm very ignorant and do not know the backstory on a lot of this at all.
The backstory of Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
You haven't caught up on those back issues of the Bible.
But so I don't know that. So when I talk to people about this stuff, and a lot of things they say, like, oh, this happened, and I understand that a lot of it's metaphorical or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, what if he was just a dope ass magician? And he is just tricking these people. And what if he was just a really smart dude that knew a lot of magic tricks and did the magic tricks, and then everyone's like, oh man, and then he got his way because he's really smart, and his way was a good way or whatever.
Got his way getting crucified.
Didn't end up so well for him. That's true though. I mean, that's often something I think of, right? That how you easily would be able to get you can commit a crime back then and get away with it because
no forensics.
There was no forensics. If you didn't have any sort of, they would probably just point the finger at someone. You can easily frame someone. Be easy.
Yeah. So
Jack the Ripper. Right?
I was thinking about going back in time with a machine gun. Being
Time Cop?
being the dopest fucking
and just
cowboy.
robbing trains with
I'd be
gold.
a good guy. But I'd take care of bad guys. Nah.
With the machine guns?
Yeah.
You'd only have a limited cartridge though. So
Yeah, well, I would have. That's the whole thing. Is I would have brought a whole bunch of bullets.
He's ready.
Oh, so that would be your weakness, but like just steal his bullets. Steal those things he puts in that thing. I'd figure you out. I'd stop you.
You couldn't stop me. Your ancestors are too dumb.
That's true.
You couldn't stop me.
They were like pig farmers. Or something.
Yeah, so I would have to see something that like I'd be like, you know what? That might be magic, but it might not be. I feel like that'd be enough for me. And also like the moon landing thing. I mean, I'm convinced we went to the moon because enough people said we did. And enough people are like, I saw that. That did happen. I'm like, okay. So if enough people saw it and enough people are like, yeah, it's legit. That checks out. I'd be like, okay. If there's only one dude that was like, oh no, I know the trick to this. He's doing all this stuff. I'd be like, But if there was a lot of them, then I'd be like, I don't believe this at all.
Do you think that if you were to believe it, do you think it would change anything in your life? The way you guys did anything? Would you stop masturbating as much?
I mean, I don't
No,
know.
I'd masturbate more.
On one hand,
What does that even mean?
Is that possible?
Oh my God, I'm so glad there's a
retirement
God.
I'm stoked. I'm going to heaven.
yeah, on one
And he
hand,
like pops in. He's like, that is not guaranteed by anything you are doing right now.
That's a surefire way to knock yourself an invite to the party.
I feel like it's on one hand it'd be smart if you know it exists. Be like, oh, I probably should be better. But on the other hand, if you know it exists, it's just like, well, then you're gonna just be cool with whatever I do and forgive me for things, right? That's how this works.
See, I feel like you're really good at gaming the system, so you'd figure out how to be like, okay,
How I can
one
masturbate
sin,
all the time and be cool.
one
Still
sin
go to
plus
heaven.
2 Hail Marys.
Yeah, that's how I got through college completely. It was just like, okay, here's the syllabus. Here's exactly what I need to do to get an A. I'm gonna do that, and I got a lot of A's.
That's how a lot of people got their college.
Things are easy. Things are great. So that's what I'm gonna do with Jesus one day.
Greg,
Yeah.
you already believe,
Yeah.
but you believe in a spirit.
I believe
Right.
in a guiding force of some kind.
I'm talking about Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Who I learned about in history books. What would it take for me to believe Jesus Christ is back?
He's back.
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think there's. If Jesus comes back, there's no doubting that's Jesus.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
he's
because
out
it's,
a whole
it's the
bunch of
book.
people just fucking disappeared, and now hell on earth is beginning.
Yeah, we have to be clear that if Jesus returns, it's the rapture, and
That's fair enough.
so like that is in the New Testament, and it's
We are-
and it's the book of Revelations.
If I'm
really dumb
if I'm ground level, Jesus is back, and I'm not gone. I'm like, fuck.
So I've heard a lot about this rapture business. I don't think it's ever been clarified to me. So why he's gonna come back and fuck things up?
So Jesus,
He's gonna come back and take all the believers, take all of his people with him.
my mom.
All
used
the
to-
good people are going away.
So like it's obviously a very Christian thing. It's a very Catholic thing, like the rapture, and just like our obsession with Revelations Revelations is the fucking best book. By the way, if you
it's like
it is
awesome.
so fucked up. It's
Is
the
that
last
the one
book
that comes after the Return of the King?
Yeah, it is. It's Revelations is the last book in the New Testament, and it's fucked up. It's about the end of the world, and it's beautifully written. People should like go read it. It's absolutely
quoted in the movie Ghostbusters.
awesome. But so the rapture is basically God coming back. God will come again, and He takes everyone, but it's like that, all the believers. And so like my mom used to tell me stories, that her parents probably told her, whatever. Like theoretically, like one day Jesus comes back and you're flying and you're in an airplane and the pilot's gone, like that.
Yeah.
And half the people on the plane are gone and the plane just crashes.
Well, that's
like
the book Left. That's the first book of Left Behind.
what Left Behind?
Left Behind, the incredibly popular book series about the. It's a fiction series.
Oh, okay. That's probably where she.
Was
That's probably where
Cameron
she.
in that?
Yes, Kirk Cameron did the
Yeah.
made-for-TV movies. But yeah.
Oh, this is newer.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, it's
No, it's older.
early.
But the books are old.
2000s.
Yeah, books are old.
Oh, the books are old though.
Books are from
Oh,
early
okay.
2000s.
Oh
late
no,
90s.
she was talking about this way before that.
Somebody straight up jacked
Well, this
your
is
mom's
probably
idea.
so. No, yeah, this was like in the 80s. I used to be obsessed with Revelations. Like my mom, I was so obsessed with Revelations and the Stations of the Cross
Oh, Stations of the Cross.
that my mom, when I was like really young, brought me in to talk to the priest like one day, which is me and him, and he brought me around to each
I
of the
would
stations.
love to have heard that conversation.
And I was, it's fascinating because the Stations of the Cross are all fucked up too. But you walk in and there's just a Roman numeral and Jesus is getting like, fucking
Whipped.
nailed to a cross.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
you're like, what in the fuck is going on here? And why do we have this on every church?
Got to remind everybody. Got to guilt everybody to come back.
So yeah, rapture happens and then everyone, it's hell. Like so.
Okay, so that creates hell because they took all the good people, so it's just left with a bunch of assholes.
Well, so I think
It's got a timeline on it
Yeah,
though. It's
it's-
hell on earth for a while and demons and devils. It's what this is the end was dealing with.
yeah,
yeah.
I was about to say this sounds familiar.
Yeah, and so it's all that happening. I forget what the timeline is. I can slowly look it up on how long that lasts, but that's the idea. Yeah.
Is it like longer than a year?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't do it.
But it's not a
then.
good year. You don't want to be down there.
I feel like you do
and that's what
anything
the
for a
whole
year.
Left Behind series is like that happens and then it's living in the aftermath of it as it starts. And the guy who's like the Antichrist, that's obviously the big bad dude on Earth. Spoilers for the Left Behind.
Oh, I want to read it. Don't say anything.
Okay.
I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
I'm gonna download.
I read book
That sounds
one.
really cool.
It was a cool idea. Then they made a really bad movie with Kirk Cameron, like you were talking about.
I like Kirk Cameron.
So I mean, to me, like that's all. It comes back to this for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's something when you go to like the molecular level of like Judeo-Christianity, right? Like there's just everything doesn't make any sense. Like nothing makes sense. And I can't, over time in my 29 years, like I said before, I have a huge respect for religious people. I have a huge respect for the Christian faith. I consider myself culturally Catholic, and my family is very religious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not everyone, but like my dad especially is like a very religious man. And but like I get into we agreed 15 years ago to never talk about religion again.
You shake hands on it, walk away.
But like, because you get to the molecular level of a science and you understand it, like chemistry, and you get to the to the molecular level of the atoms and quarks and all this kind of stuff. Like, but when you get to the molecular level of something of humanity, like religion, everything starts to fall apart. Nothing makes any sense. Like and to me, I can never run away from that. Even as a little kid, I can never like convince myself that. It felt to me like I was lying to myself, and I always felt like that was kind of weird, and I didn't want to diminish people's religion, and I don't. If you have faith out there and you believe, more power to you. But to me, it's like how like Jesus comes back to Earth, right? In around the turn of BC to AD. He dies in 32 AD or whatever. He is the Son of God. But God is one in the Trinity, so Jesus is God and the Son of God and the Spirit of God all at once. He comes back to Earth. Why? Then like they draw this whole thing out where he has to be not only die, but has to be crucified by the Romans. Why? Like why is it so hard? Just bring everyone to salvation. Like if you're like, why does that have to be a game? You know what I mean? That's like why I don't think God exists, because it doesn't make fucking sense.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, in that sense, right? Like he gives his life and everything to put you in debt, right? To indebt your followers, to indebt the human race.
How many Twitter followers would Jesus have?
Oh,
So many.
more than Ellen.
More than Ellen. His selfie would go bigger. But I mean, right? That's the idea, right? He gave his life for you, but his death opened the gates of heaven so everyone can go or whatever. Like that's the thing. That's why, on top of original sin, right? You're also carrying this guilt that this guy died for you.
It just doesn't. It's just. I know, but it doesn't make any like just in a philosophical way. It's just like, why did just cut to the chase? If like, why are you letting all these bad people live for thousands of years? Just fucking have the rapture now. Yeah. Kill them. Be done with them. And then it's like free will and all this stuff. But if you're a Calvinist, you don't really believe in free will. But if and then like it just gets into this granular level where like now none of them disagree. The Jewish people, the Jewish faith believes Jesus existed and was a holy man, but he's not the Messiah.
Yeah, he's not the Son of God.
So then like it splits up that way. Then it's like Jesus is a holy man in the Muslim faith, but he's not the Messiah. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
No,
If I'm reading this graph right, it's the second coming and then a millennium and then last judgment.
How long is the millennium? 1,000 years? We have to do 1,000 years?
Yeah, the millennium is much shorter.
Hasn't the millennium come and gone?
Yes, it has.
Circa what, Men in Black 2?
Yeah, something like that.
When I was young, and there's Santa Claus and Easter Bunny and Tooth Fairy and all that stuff. Like I remember fairly young realizing that these are made up things. And when I was younger and dumber than I am now, slightly.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, especially with what I'm about to say. I always used to. I thought that Jesus was part of that crew.
Yeah.
I also thought that Michael Jackson was.
No way.
Swear to God.
How is that possible?
When I was young.
King of Pop.
When I was
Greg,
young.
King of
Well,
Pop.
so because here's the thing. So I grew up with like very close to this one family, and we
have our next shirt.
We had
Santa Claus and Easter Bunny and Jesus and Michael Jackson.
So it'd be Christmas time.
Crew. Like,
my close friend's Peruvian, and when it'd be Christmas time, we'd go to his house, and like we'd be talking about Santa Claus, and he's talking about this little rat that would come. Like they had I want to say his name's Pepe, but it's probably not Pepe. Pepe would come.
It's really racist.
And it's a little rat that would bring presents, and I'm like, that's fucking stupid. And then he was like, your shit's fucking stupid. I'm like, I guess you're right. My shit is stupid. And then that's kind of the source of realizing that wasn't true. And then there's all these other things, right? And I thought that religion was one of those things.
Right.
Like later I realized that it's not. But then Michael Jackson, I thought it was a made up thing because I would see Michael Jackson and he was a black man. And then all of a sudden I saw him, and he was a white woman. And it confused me because I didn't hear him sing. He sounded like a woman.
See that.
He looked like a woman.
I
and I was
see that.
like 5, and he was singing the Free Willy song, and I was like, I don't
Free
get
Willy
this.
song.
And yeah,
That classic.
so
The thing about it is that's the thing that's so hard to wrap your head around when, Colin and I talk about all the time, right? That, raised Catholic or whatever, we go to these Catholic schools or whatever. And then when people are so quick right now to tear apart Scientology or any other religion, but mainly Scientology these days, right? Book of Mormon, something like that. And you sit there and you're like, yeah, that is silly. Aliens coming down. And then you start, and when you actually turn it around and look objectively at the Christian faith or the Catholic faith, you're like, I guess there's some flaws in that one too. You know what I mean? Like,
it just this is what bothers me the most, right? Like Catholicism, specifically Rome, right? Like, has evolved many times over the years, right? And like some people in the comments of last week's video about aliens were like, well, religion doesn't necessarily, or Christianity doesn't necessarily disappear because of, aliens showing up. I'm like, no, it does, because we have to draw the line somewhere, because the line, during Galileo and the Renaissance scientists, the Enlightenment scientists that were like, no, the Earth's not at the center of the universe. It doesn't make any sense, but the Bible says that it is. The Bible also says the Earth was created before the sun, which makes no sense. Because there can't be a planet around with no star holding it into a gravity well, right? So like, there's all these things, and they're like, no, that's just that's just
metaphor.
Yeah, it's just a metaphor. It's just a metaphor. It's just a metaphor. It's just like over and over again. It's like, well, then what in this book is real? Because even
the part where you hate gay people and can't masturbate,
right? Exactly.
That's the real stuff.
Exactly.
Not the part where you can stone your wife or any of the other stuff. No.
Yeah, it's like adult. It's like a divorce and adultery is totally illegal in the Bible. In the Old Testament. Nope. Not anymore. Slavery even, like, it's like, there was people that justified slavery with the Bible, but no, that was, now, homosexuality is probably the new battle, but it's like, eventually you have to draw the line and be like, listen, there's more wrong in this book than we've ever really examined before. Maybe we have to look at it as a great manual in which to live your life, written by people that didn't even agree with each other. Even the Gospels fucking contradict each other, and they're all supposed to be together. It's not like they were like all... these 4 guys specifically that wrote the 4 Gospels or whatever, like, weren't together. They were fucking together, and then, but obviously they were written by people afterwards, but they don't even agree with each other. Some of them all tell the same story.
Different ways.
And different ways. And someone will tell this story and someone will tell this story that seemed to have happened at the same time. And it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's like where I'm coming from. It's like, I like religion and I like faith, but I also feel like it holds us back to understanding like the true nature of humanity, the true luck of us being here.
Sure.
And that maybe we shouldn't take our lives for granted because we're like, well, we'll be in a better place one day. Maybe we won't be. Maybe we only have our 80 years of existence.
Well, that's the whole thing too of like when people talk about the book being a metaphor, right? And the fact that the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven is earth. Heaven is on earth, and so you're supposed to be living a just life now to enjoy the fruits of all this, right? How blessed we are to live and do all these things. But that gets lost and gets mistranslated or whatever. Or maybe it doesn't get mistranslated. People interpret how they feel.
But yeah, I agree. It's just like when I think about like the heliocentric theory or like versus the geocentric theory and like how they were like gonna fucking kill people over this and they were like going crazy and they're like, forget it, you're right. Or like how like Martin Luther was the one that went to Rome and was like, what are you doing? Like, you have all this money and all this gold. This is wrong. Nailed his theses to the church door and started Protestantism. It's like there already were these disagreements. Everyone's just like kind of sweeping them under the rug, being like, well, everything's kind of still the same, but it's not, because like over and over again, like you check things off, just like it insinuates the 7 days of Genesis, and then the 7 days are metaphors, but then maybe they're not, and then maybe it's like, but then things are made out of order, and it doesn't make any sense. Woman comes from man's rib. No. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a long lineage of proof against that one. You know what I mean? Like, we know where women come from.
Where do they come from?
Babies.
I was gonna say the kitchen, but
oh my God,
Christ, Nick!
Wow.
I'm joking.
But who built the kitchen?
God.
Yes,
God.
Now,
you want to mark that one, Greg? Are we taking that one out?
No, it's fine. So I don't know. To me, it's like there's just all of these.
Kidding. I respect
there's all these
women.
philosophical issues like that, and I can't be intellectually honest with myself and think that this is real. Like I said, God bless you, and more power to you. And I respect religion, and I will always stand up for the Catholic faith as a culturally Catholic person. I'm Italian and Irish. That's very Catholic. But Yeah, it's just proof. I need to see, and seeing is believing. But the New Testament says that you know, blessed are those who believed and did not see.
Yeah. Well, that's the brilliance of all the religions that put that in there, is that it's a fail-safe, right?
Yeah.
You can't sit there and be like, well, I need to see something. Well, no, the faith it's based on you not seeing. Like, that makes sense.
So wait, so then if you saw it, then it doesn't exist?
No, you're a chosen one. You saw the toast that had Maria burned into it.
It's yeah. But think about it this way. Like, Tim makes a good point. Like, think about Lazarus, right? Like, people saw him coming out of the grave. So everyone there that knew, and then the people they told, and maybe just for a few generations were like, that was fucked up.
Yeah,
that dude was dead, you know? And like, he like came out of the grave and he was alive. Or when Jesus casts the net into the waters and pulls it back, and there's, you know, all the fish and turning water into wine.
Water,
like, exactly. It's like Jesus. You know? So, like, those are the kinds of things that people did see that, like, apparently did see that. And again, we've said Josephus and Roman historians have talked about Jesus. Jesus existed. There's no doubt about that. But maybe he was, like, we don't often think about, like, I don't want to say cultist or anything like that, but, like, he might have just been delusional, you know? Like, too. Like, there's totally a possibility of that. Plus, you have Mary Magdalene, who is probably his wife, which the Bible would never, ever, ever touch in a million years, you know? And then you have his mom, Mary, and Joseph, who's really only alluded to a few times, the virgin birth and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, what the fuck? This is so complicated. Just come back. You know? This is so complicated.
Yeah, it's too complicated. It's too complicated.
I appreciate it because it's fascinating. I've read the Bible. I take classes in the Bible. I know the Bible. But I study it as, you know, a piece of fiction. You know? And I took a couple classes in college, and we read a book called, which is a great book. It's a short book too, called, you know, Who Wrote the Bible, and it's split into 4 parts for the 4 Gospels, and it ties all the who they might think wrote it and when they wrote it and stuff like that. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah,
but it's for scholars now, not theologians, to figure everything out, in my opinion.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Also, real quick,
the
thing that bothers me the most: Catholic faith has books in the Bible that are not accepted by other faiths, and vice versa. We have the Book of Ruth, for instance, which is considered part of the New Testament, that is then not considered new. So like, there's all this, like, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. I'm done.
Okay. So we're done with your topic?
That's it.
All right.
What else you wrote?
I always talk about it. I always see little signs and feel the presence of God, and that's how I know.
Like when you see Portillo.
Yeah. Only
you see God's eyes in Portillo.
Only a God could make something this perfect.
Look at him.
Aerodynamic.
Look at him. Low to the ground.
Able to bounce back from any problem.
Got his own built-in spoiler on the end there.
Colin.
Yes.
Tail.
What's your topic?
First of all, I want to read this real quick. This tag from Eagle Rare.
Oh, please do.
And we're drinking Eagle Rare. It's great bourbon. It's a little expensive, but you should drink it. It's good. It says, lead a rare life, courage, leadership, survival, heroism, devotion, character.
I like that character's
Words to live by.
You got to throw in character.
So I'm going to need a drink for this one.
Colin, before we start, what would like the 5 or 4 words be that just describe you?
Heroism's definitely.
Would heroism be in there? Do those all apply? Let me read those again. Let's go around the table here. Courage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's courageous.
Leadership.
Sure.
Yeah. Survival.
Oh, yeah.
Why is survival? That's the one that stands out.
When you want to survive, you drink whiskey.
Whiskey, because that's the one thing you need out in the wild to survive. All right,
Bourbon.
sorry, Colin.
No, it's okay.
What is your topic?
So I want to talk real quick, and I'm just going to come out and say it. A decision was made the last few days that really disgruntled me and made me state that Star Wars is officially dead to me. Officially dead. Dead to me.
How could Star Wars be dead to you?
Because Disney went ahead and took the expanded universe and said that it's all not canon anymore.
But hasn't it always been that, though?
No, it certainly hasn't. A lot of people have been trying to say that they've been saying this, but that's bullshit. It's always been part of the canon. Oh, most of it. Not all of it. Some of it hasn't been, and they've tried to work it in or whatever. But this is officially stating that anything that happened in the expanded universe, mostly in between Empire and Jedi and then after Jedi, is no longer part of the story. And this frees up the writers, of course, of J.J. Abrams' trilogy to write what they want. But it bothers me not in the sense that they can't do this. They can do whatever they want. You know, a lot of people are being like, you sound awful. entitled. And I'm like, no, because I'm not saying that they can't do this. If they want to do that, that's fine. I'm just saying I'm not giving you another cent of my money ever. And that the hundreds of dollars I spent on that EU shit when I was a kid, and all the time I read it and studied and all that stuff, wasting my fucking time.
You got a higher education in that, didn't you?
But it's useless. I basically had a bachelor's degree in Star Wars Expanded Universe as a kid, self-taught, in addition to my degree from Northeastern. And now I have one degree, and it's from Northeastern. Because this other fucking thing ended up being...
You're literally half a man right now.
I ended up going to a bi-male technical institute. You know?
Now here's my thing on that one, though. Don't you feel like that's a little bit of a relief, though? Because now they can go forward with Lawrence Kasdan as a writer and write something good. They don't have to adhere to midichlorians. Well, I guess they actually still do, don't they?
Lucas wrote that, and that is canon.
Damn,
and so is Jar Jar Binks. Yes, Jar Jar Binks is canon. Prince Shizor, not canon.
What did you do
Dash Rendar, not canon. Mara Jade, not canon. Grand Admiral Thrawn, not canon. Jar Jar Binks and those racist Asian fucking Trade Federation people, canon.
Newt Gunray.
Let me ask you a question. So like flash forward to like 7 months from now, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like,
when you're sitting in the fucking theater watching it.
No, you get into work and everyone goes, dude, you haven't seen it yet? Oh, you got to come see it. Right? This is what always happens at work. Everyone's like, dude, you haven't seen it. And they act like the thing came out 18 months ago and you're just now catching up.
You're the one that does this.
The trailer just dropped,
Finnegan,
right? So
who
literally,
likes hiking.
So literally you walk in and someone goes, Colin, you got to come see it. This is the first Star Wars Episode 7 teaser trailer, right? And it gets the...
No, it doesn't.
They can't do that
there.
anymore.
Do that.
Right, whatever.
And it's gonna be the Disney house with the thing.
It gets the really so it's the really cool LucasArts emblem then, right? Because that's still an available thing. No, so then it starts right, and it's like, and you hear some cool sort of voice, and it's like, in the Empire's wake, and then the next thing you see is Jar Jar Binks. What do?
I kill myself and everyone around me.
And it's like, oh, it's me! I'm a Jar Jar Binks.
You're missing. It'll start with something alluding to. I never thought I'd see you again, Skywalker. And then like,
it'll start with the crawl of the fucking story.
No, he's talking about the trailer.
The
crawl.
Oh, the trailer.
I don't.
We have 60 seconds to make an impression. Here's text.
That would be more interesting. At least it's the fucking story, so we can see where it all.
I don't think they're gonna start. I don't think they're gonna show. They'll show like one or two. That'll be later in the trailer. They'll show Han Solo.
That'll be the end?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
At the end, it'll be like the door opens and it's all three of them there.
Sucking.
Looking all old and shit. This is the other thing.
Sucking the guts guys were the Star Wars.
Sucking the guts guys were the Jedis. Oh, Leia.
God bless. I love Carrie Fisher. God bless her in this movie. It's gonna be amazing because. But that's not even my problem. I'm glad they got Luke and Leia and Han back there in the expanded universe, right? Like, and all these things have happened in the expanded universe. What really bothers me is that not all these stories are good. I haven't read them all, and even the ones that I've read weren't good. But there's some really, really good ones. So good that George Lucas fucking stole from them. Like Coruscant, the Imperial capital, was created by Timothy Zahn in a book.
What if he now steals? What if they steal good shit from it and like make something new that is the good part?
Yeah, but it's kind of messed up, right? Because if you're gonna take source material, that source should be canon. Right, like it's kind of messed up. If I wrote like the Timothy Zahn books were amazing.
Yeah, they're awesome. Heir to the Empire.
There was a huge, backlash when they said they wouldn't be doing those. Right, like I remember Gallegos was like, I think he was pretty pissed off about that because that's what everyone thought they would do. They would go to the Mara Jade story. They would do the
Grand Admiral
Thrawn, which is badass. Right? Are you familiar with these?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you're gonna develop those cool characters, you got to give a little credit to the author that's doing it, and I think to me that credit is you make it canon. Like it has to be canon. Like if the character was originated in a work that's not canon, it gets murky. That's my thought.
It's all fucked up. What do you think?
The best part is that there's no redeeming Boba Fett storylines anymore, so I don't have to put up with bullshit that this guy was an interesting character.
He's dead. He's dead in the movie.
He was
really
really just a fucking bitch. I know, but he was a bitch in the movies.
You still don't know he's dead.
And then you're always called in these fucking little asides that happen in the backwater. Fucking, I don't even know where.
He was in armor.
And he did this thing. No, he's just an idiot with a jetpack that couldn't fly. And he couldn't catch anyone.
He had the Mandalorian armor, and he's probably the Sarlacc.
He's so dead.
He probably could have survived.
He's a clone, and he's dead.
He could have survived.
I think I think it's Tales from Jabba's Palace, which was released in the mid-90s. They tell Boba Fett's story, I think, about how he gets out of the Sarlacc pit. So, like how he blows it up or something. He might have committed suicide in it. I don't think so. I think he gets out of it.
I probably would have taken a thermonuclear detonator out and just nuked myself because I don't want to be slowly, digested in the Sarlacc pit for the next 1,000 years.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Robot Chicken Star Wars specials?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
I love them. I love them
They're
a lot.
really good.
And how they deal with Boba, I think it's just great.
They're not canon either.
Damn it! No.
But the biggest thing to me is that like it's the EU stuff like post Jedi is disappointing that that's not like a lot of that's not canon. But actually, this brings Shadows of the Empire into trouble too. And Shadows of the Empire is fucking awesome, really good.
I thought he officially was like, no, this is canon. Did he never do that?
They said that everything that is not from Clone Wars or one other show, Rebels, or the 6 movies are not canon anymore. They're not canon.
It's too bad.
So for people that don't know, Shadows of the Empire was released in like 96 or 97, and it's the story between Empire and Jedi, and it's awesome. It's really, really good. It introduces like a bunch of new characters and explains things like about how Leia becomes the bounty hunter in Jabba's palace and stuff like that. That's
armor
like that's all explained in the book. Prince Shizor's in it, and Dash Rendar.
Who was a little bit of a poor man's Han Solo.
Yeah, he was a poor man's Han Solo, but he had that cool ship.
What was it called? Do you remember what it was called?
Yeah, I can see it in my head. It had
a cool name.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a B-wing.
Hey, look it up.
Right?
That's what you got.
B-wing's
the
one
right?
with the thing.
Yeah, the B-wing was the one with the one.
Yeah,
wing,
that
right?
kind of looked like that.
I always thought that the expanded universe stuff like wasn't canon.
No, it was
expanded.
See, I could have also sworn that it was always like the only thing that was canon was the movies and the TV shows.
Yeah,
that was it.
No, so
and this is the debate that comes back.
I looked this up. What?
Dash Reindeer B-wing plane didn't bring me anything.
Okay.
Sorry, Nick. I can't help you with your fucking shit that doesn't
do something other than play a video game for once in
True
your
story.
life.
Mike Asef used to work with us at IGN, Colin, and he used to use the gamer tags and stuff of Dash Reindeer or whatever. And I thought for the longest time, I thought it was reindeer. That he like I was like, is that like short for Dasher?
Dasher
like
through the snow?
Yeah, Dasher the reindeer. But it was some stupid made up guy who doesn't even exist anymore. Whose existence has been
I don't think he
blanked
ever
out.
really. Now he never really existed.
No, there's never a thing.
I'm almost positive that like they went to lengths to explain that the
Outrider.
expanded universe was not canon. That it was just these movies and stuff, and that it was expanded universe.
No, so
similar to
so
comics
it
and stuff.
says that this is Wikipedia. On April 28th, April. This is in European dating, and I don't like it very much. April
over here in April,
April 20th, 2014, and following the acquisition of Star Wars license by Disney, it was announced that all previously released expanded universe content would henceforth be considered an alternate universe, referred to as Legends. A Lucasfilm story group moving forward will ensure that all new comics, books, games, and other media are considered canon and valid to the story being told in the films. So I think that there was people that worked at Lucasfilms that were just their whole job was to keep the expanded universe not even conflicting with itself and then the movies. So they would if it was never considered canon, they wouldn't have given a shit about any of that.
What's the big? Do they have some sort of big anthology? Something library? Some big thing they keep the records in? What's that thing called?
It's Holocron.
The Holocron.
Yeah.
Isn't that a cool thing?
And there's people that are.
Isn't that a cool thing?
That sounds a cool name. Like, what do you do? I'm the keeper of the Holocron.
And there's people there that like that they just keep that
go
shit
by
straight so it doesn't conflict with the movies or what George Lucas wants, or even though that never stopped George Lucas with Boba Fett's story, for instance, in episode 2. But I guess we saw shades of them doing this in episode 2 because they ruined the backstory of Boba Fett in that movie and the Stormtroopers. I
thought that there was some theories that the Boba Fett in the later 3 movies, sorry, the original 3 movies was a different Boba Fett than the one we saw there.
No, that was a bunch of hurt fanboys coming up with stories to try to salvage a character that was never cool and try to give him a shot to be cool again.
2 things, Greg.
Hey, I've got this gun in this jetpack, and I got this guy. Oh, I'm dead. Fucking bitch.
Have you ever tried to use a jetpack? They're exceedingly hard.
The Rocketeer did it pretty well.
Well, not at first. Remember when he pokes through the plane? He's like, I'm here.
So you're saying that was Boba Fett's first outing?
I mean, maybe he just didn't brush it off. I mean, he's traveling in space. You can't use a jetpack there. Space. It's the Outrider. What's his ship's name?
The Outrider, right? I had it. I bought it.
Badass name.
They
for
sold.
a ship.
They sold it.
Here's my thing,
Outrider.
Colin, and I'll be serious for changing this topic. This is where I think it hurts you not being a comic book fan. Because the comic book universes are all shattered. I've read so many Superman stories that don't connect at all and are not in the official, especially not now, in the new 52 canon. But you enjoyed the experience and what you had with it. No. Great stuff, great stories. You still had great stories with old Dash Reindeer running around fighting old Bot Ride, whatever.
Bot Ride.
I'm with Colin because
he was devious. Bot Ride was fucking bad, dude.
I think that the Botch Ride. is that what
everyone just gibberish.
BOTTRYDE.
That's what your ship would be called.
Bot Ride.
Botch Ride.
No, it's Bot Ride, not
Bot Ride, like BOT.
Yeah, like a bot, like a robot.
Bot Ride.
He was R2D2's friend.
That's a badass name for a ship,
right?
My thing, I'm with Colin on this one. Here's why. You want to. Part of the power of Star Wars is the vastness of the universe, right? Is all the crazy things and the possibilities that can happen. And to take 90% of those things and just immediately take them off the table, it's kind of a letdown.
They left the door open to some of it being real.
Yeah, they said that they might take some of them back. And
exactly, which I think is good. It's like, let's take the right parts, not the dumb shit.
Yeah, but the problem is the right parts are already there. I mean, the wrong parts are already there, right? The thing that they should take back is the original 3 movies, like that.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Or 1, 2, and 3, rather. Not the original 3. The original things are amazing.
The first 3.
But that's the problem. Like, those are the things that everyone has a problem with. When other people were allowed to come in and rewrite or write stories about Star Wars, they were fucking awesome. Because it wasn't Lucas. It was people that were like, I care about this.
And they're still awesome, though.
They are, but
they didn't happen.
They're
not meaningful. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like comics, but it's not, because obviously every comic book, every comic book has its origin and stuff like that. But like, really, the events of New Hope, Empire, and Jedi are like, you can't do that over and over again. Like, that is the event, right? Like the Death Star, Luke finding Obi-Wan, all of that kind of stuff. Luke's father, with you can't retell that over and over again. That is it. Like, that's what Star Wars all revolves around, the stories of those for Hoth and Endor and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. To me, it's just like this is one of the few things I really care about, like in a huge nerdy way. And I was really disappointed when I read that, because they can do what they want. They own it, and if they want to do that, that's fine. But I am not going to give them any more money. I used to be obsessed with the expanded universe when I was a kid, because that's all we had, and a lot of people forget about that. Like, before the special editions came out in '97, and then obviously in '99, the expanded universe is what kept Star Wars alive, and it's what kept Star Wars relevant to people. And people like me, the ones who bought the books, were the ones that were keeping Star Wars alive before the films came out. And suddenly you're just like, we don't care about any of that stuff you bought or read or anything like that, and all the toys you bought and this, that, and the other thing. It doesn't matter, because none of it obviously none of it ever happened. None of it's real. But it's like saying like it's fan fiction now. Now it's just fucking fan fiction. It's not like it used to be cool because it seemed like it was endorsed. It was endorsed.
Yeah.
Like, Lucasfilms endorsed these books and said like, these are canon and this is the way things went down, and we even borrowed certain things from the books. Again, Coruscant's a huge setting in 1, 2, and 3, and that's from a Timothy Zahn book. Lucas didn't make that up. That's one of the only cool things from the prequels, ironically.
Real quick question: is Steven Zahn related to Timothy Zahn?
No. Timothy Zahn?
Yeah.
Who's Timothy?
Steven Zahn related to Timothy Zahn.
Who's Steven Zahn? That sounds familiar.
Saving Silverman. He's one of the actors in that.
Also in That Thing You Do.
I'll look it up. Thank you. That's a better reference.
There you go.
So that's it. I just wanted to kind of, I just had to kind of talk about that. So I'm not spending $1 on Star Wars ever again, and I will not be seeing the movies in the theater. If it's on TV, one day, in the future, and it's on, maybe I'll watch it. But I'm going to go out of my way to not see it. And that's just my little. And that's just my little.
See it.
No, I'm
He's not going to go to the theater.
it.
He won't go to the theater.
And that's
to see
my-
it. He
and that's
doesn't
my
go
little-
to see. He
that's my
couldn't.
little
He
protest.
talked forever about Red Dawn remake, and we never even made it out to the theater to see that. He ain't going to go see any of this.
That's a slightly
See,
different.
this news
set of
really
circumstances.
excites me. Actually, like, I like the fact that now they are officially saying everything henceforth is canon. So it's like, okay, cool. Now this is a cool jumping in point to like get into all these things, and whatever. It's no longer expanded. I mean, I guess it is still the expanded universe. Like, from now on, comics, books, all these things are gonna be telling the same story, and that's cool. I like that, because like before, it wasn't like that. It was like there was all these different little things going on. It was like, I don't know which, the fucking Dark Horse comics or these other shit. Like, should I read these? Do these even have anything to do with the characters I give a fuck
but
about?
I didn't have that luxury, right? Like, I read them all. I bought those books, and I don't know. It's just disappointing to me, especially because they had the choice of saying, like, God, go back and redo the fucking 1, 2, and 3. Like, go back to what's wrong. Like, everyone hates those movies. Everyone fucking hates those movies.
See, but
you're
I
not
think
gonna
that's
find
an
many people that
option,
hate Heir to the Empire or Shadows of the Empire. People would like those books, Like,
Yeah,
maybe
Shadows was amazing. It was a really good book. Really good book.
yeah, it's excellent. I read it in one day. I remember.
I think I read it. Yeah, I think it was one of those books.
I was in like 7th or 8th grade when I got it.
devoured in like 2 days.
It was awesome.
Like Goosebumps.
I hear what you're saying, and you're right. Like, it's cool now that, like, from this
Hardy
point
Boys.
forward, everything we write and everything we put out is Star Wars canon. But for OGs
Is that
like
what they're
me,
saying?
yeah, that's what they said. Like, to make
or is
sure.
it really just the movies that they're putting?
No,
out?
they're saying like everything henceforth will be.
And
we'll
then in
make sure
30
it'll be
years,
written.
they'll blink it out of existence. And you'll be like, I warned you when they came for my Boba Fett and Bot Rider. No one stood up.
I don't know. I think it's stupid, and a lot. The good thing I know is that my instinct when I read that, I was like, that's bullshit. Yeah, I'm like, that really makes me mad. And I looked it up, and everyone's mad. So it's not like I'm the only one that's mad.
You're not the only Star Wars nerd who's mad.
No.
All the Star Wars nerds are mad.
Not all of them. I'm sure a lot of Star Wars fans are happy about that too. But I think older Star Wars fans that really were into the lore of the series before the special editions came out. So in the early mid-90s.
Before they started blinking things out of the actual movies.
Right, exactly. The Greedo shoots first.
See, I don't understand though, like with the old expanded universe, like how could that have been canon when there was so much of it? Like the video games. Not all the video games make sense.
So
on top of each other.
Yeah, I mean, like Dark Forces does. Like KOTOR would make sense. Like the good ones, the good games, X-Wing vs TIE Fighter. I mean, like the game Dark Forces has like real story. Like those kinds of games, they did make sense. Obviously, there was like weird ass games like Yoda Stories. Remember that weird? It was like a procedurally generated garbage game. Obviously, that had no. Yeah, it's just. I don't know. It's just disappointing because I was really into those books and into those stories. I felt like I knew the characters. Like even though like you see IG-88 for 5 seconds in the movie, but there's like a lot of story about IG-88. But now and that makes it interesting in his relationship to Boba Fett and all that kind of stuff, or Zuckuss' relation to Fort Lom, and all that kind of. I like that kind of stuff. I thought it was interesting. I like reading books, so. It's disappointing they're saying like, nah, like you just wasted all your time. I could have been reading other cool shit that.
But you enjoyed your time, and for years you had something to talk about.
Now I don't. Now it all doesn't matter.
Well, you turned on them. You hated them before this. So.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's like they saw what you were doing, and they're like, well,
I
whatever.
did, but like this was the turning point for me where I was like, the prequels are fucking terrible, man. Like they were so bad, and they hurt me. Like on a personal level, and I think they hurt a lot of Star Wars fans on a personal level where they're like, man, this is bad. Like this is bad shit. But like they could have rectified that situation somehow. Instead, they're saying like midichlorians, that's the real shit, man.
How awesome is it going to be? Just stick with me. How awesome is it going to be to have Luke Skywalker mention midichlorians now and have that be canon? Like that's real shit now.
My God,
that's actually how the trailer's going to open.
Midichlorians.
It's been a long time, Skywalker.
What's up, Jar Jar?
Hold on, I gotta check my midichlorians. Bot Rider, take this.
I'm interested to see like if people think the new movies are good. I think it'll have the same arc as Episode 1, where everyone, if you remember correctly, in 1999, everyone thought Episode 1 was good for a few days. I don't know if you guys remember that. Like it came out maybe a few weeks, especially because we didn't have this internet, like this hyper internet culture.
Right,
where it was I remember going to see him and going, I like that, and then I saw it again, and I'm like,
I don't know if I like that.
I don't know about this, and then I went and saw it again, and I was like, oh.
Is he talking into a Gillette lady's razor?
and then as the years went on, I was like, oh man, this is really bad.
Yeah.
And then Episode 2 came out, no one had any expectations. Episode 3 was like, no one had any expectations. There were some people that were like, this is going to be great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
3 was good.
Well,
I like.
As a guy who never read any of these goddamn stupid fan fictions, I thought it was fine. I only knew the movies, and I thought finally shit's happening in 3. Stupid fucking, I have the high ground. I lop off every limb except one, but whatever. Robots.
So that's where I stand. I'm done. If you guys don't have anything else to put into this particular topic.
I have to chime in that Steve Zahn was born in Marshall, Minnesota, the son of Zelda, who worked for the YMCA, and Carlton Edward Zahn, a retired Missouri Lutheran pastor. Now related to whatever his face was.
Now this
Timothy
is expanded
Timothy Zahn.
Is Timothy Zahn still alive?
Probably.
Get him on
He's
the
probably
show.
just super pissed off right now.
You think he is? He probably is.
He gets so much money.
Or no, Disney.
Abrams. All right. Good topic.
Great
I'll go next. My topic is also controversial from this past week. Comixology. An app to read comics. Colin, don't fall asleep yet. I'm getting to the part you'll care about. I've been a big supporter of Comixology. It was something I'd been calling for a long time. It's the reason I bought my iPad. To read comics digitally. Not to have to collect comics. To be happy reading them digitally. Spending way too much money on comics. Tim, you do this as well. Mm-hmm. Nick, you've just begun.
I have. I've just ventured into that.
They got bought by Amazon not too long ago. Last month. Mm-hmm. Big news. Oh, cool. They got bought by Amazon. Everybody's like, Amazon's going to ruin them. And we're all like, nah, it'll be fine. They closed their old app.
Yeah, it's not even an update, by the way.
No, it's not even an update. They closed their old app, create a new app you have to go into and log into. And the big thing is that there is no store anymore inside it on the digital iOS front or the Android front for that part. You have to go to the Comixology website, which has always exists, where you can read comics online as well. But now you have to go there, buy your comics on the web, and then they'll appear in your reader. You have to go download them in your reader.
Kindle.
Yes, which Kindle used to be able to buy books in as well. Your Kindle app on your iPad used to be able to buy your books. Then
when was that? That was
when it first started.
Time ago.
Yeah, exactly. But
I've never had that.
Because this is so this happens. People flip the fuck out. Saturday I woke up and the Twitter was aflame with people freaking out. This is the worst thing ever. They've ruined Comixology. They've ruined this. And my initial reaction was, yeah, this sucks. It's a hurdle, right? The fact that I'm reading comics and I want to read the next comic, but I have to go to the website or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then you think about it, and really it's just the, screw job, no offense, or not even the screw job, but like how the in-app purchases work. That 30% of an in-app purchase needs to go to Apple, right? So for Amazon to come in, sell things through Kindle, sell things through Comixology now, it makes sense for them to force you to this. And at first, again, yeah, like, I get the knee-jerk reaction of, but I won't be able to, the guy who wrote Punisher and did all this stuff, created Punisher, he's had like a long but a long thesis on why this is horrible, right? And all these reasons. And we'll get to them. But when I stopped to actually think about it, my iPad is Wi-Fi only, not 3G. So anytime I'm around reading comics, I'm usually on or computers within arm's reach, right? When new comics come out on Wednesday, I just have to change my mindset of, well, I'll get them when I get home to, I'll check it out on a lunch break and see what I want to buy this week and click and be done. Also, Comixology a few months ago, before the Amazon acquisition, introduced subscriptions where I love Invincible and I love Walking Dead and I love a bunch of other series. So I just click a button and I'm subscribed now. So I auto buy those every time they come out, every Wednesday that they come out of the month. So for me, not that much changes. At first, sounds horrible. Whatever. For me personally, not that much changes, but I know other people are freaking out. Are either of you freaking out?
So that makes a lot of sense now because I thought I was going crazy because I opened up my Comixology app a couple days ago and it told me to download the other one. I was like, that's weird. It's not an update. Normally it's just an update. Yeah. So now I've got 2 Comixology apps on my phone and I just finished Invincible 107 and I was like, okay, I have to know what happens next. I'm going to buy, I'm just going to really quickly, it's linked to my iTunes account. Just going to buy 8, 9, and 10, right? And I could not figure out why it would not let me purchase. And I logged in online, started a Comixology account. It doesn't ask me for any credit card information, and I gave up. I was like, I give up. This is too much work to get 3 comic books where it shouldn't be that hard, right? And I think it's actually worth the 30% for the ease of use. That, by the way, when they had a sale, I dropped $40 on comic books. Sure. I bought like 40 issues. I just marathon through these things. Why? Because you don't stop to think.
Right.
You just go,
I've done that too.
Oh, well, I got to get the next one. Oh, I got to. And the only thing that stopped me was that I was literally falling asleep, and I'm like, okay, I'll table this until tomorrow. So I think it's going to hurt their business considerably in the short term. I'm sure Amazon has a plan. Because if there's one company that can go out there and actually take on Apple, it's Amazon.
Right.
They're crushing.
Well, they've already been doing it with Kindle. I mean, this isn't like something crazy. This is what you're talking about earlier.
Yeah, right? I mean, I've had the Kindle app on my iPad since 2009, and I've never had it any other way than me having to go to a site, one-click order, send it to Andrew Jackson. That's the name of my iPad. And then
I love it. I love it.
And then it loads up.
I think my wife has a Kindle Fire, and I think she can just buy stuff directly from her Kindle.
Well, yeah, you can do that.
But I think you have to have an Amazon account.
But we're taling about the app. The Kindle app.
Yeah, like I have my Kindle.
On your
Kindle
iPad.
app is the same thing because it's run by Amazon.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, so I'm not a comic reader, whatever. I didn't even know Comixology was purchased by anyone. 2 things strike me as interesting. First is that Amazon and Google are the 2 companies in the world that no one will ever admit does anything wrong because everyone's obsessed with them. So it's interesting to see, Google does stupid shit all the time. No one will ever say a word about it. It was interesting for me to see people get mad at Amazon because I've never seen that before. Like everyone loves Amazon. When Amazon Prime went up, everyone's like,
it's the perfect
It's
thing.
great. Who cares? Which I agree because Amazon Prime's awesome. So that was the first thing that struck me. I'm like, wow, people are being critical of Amazon. This is a new frontier here on the internet. The second thing I was thinking was, this makes perfect sense. Why the fuck would Amazon want to give 30% of their revenue from a thing they probably spent tens of millions of dollars on when they can just cut them out completely? That makes perfect sense to me.
I want to point out that on the Android app, you can still pay through the reader with PayPal. Yeah, PayPal only. But jumping back to what I was saying earlier, it's Jerry Conway. Thanks for reloading that while I was reading it. Co-creator of The Punisher. He had this whole thing put up about how, and the first line is, and so as we could have predicted, Amazon wrecks Comixology. And it's this whole thing. And what he brings up is interesting too. The fact that he loves comic shops, but they're dying, right? And that Comixology was the perfect portal to get people into comics, making split second purchase. You know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'll buy another one. Yeah, I'll buy another one. Yeah, I'll buy another one. I still think that exists. I don't think we're giving readers enough credit. You know, I mean, granted, it's another step to jump through, but I still think it is.
It's not another step to jump through. It's like 3 steps.
No, it's because you're stupid and don't remember your password for Comixology. All you had to do on your new reader was log in with your username and your password, and you were set to go. You have a Comixology account.
But how does it download to your phone? Through the actual app still?
It just syncs.
It syncs. It's just like Kindle.
I don't know. Does it do that actually?
No, but you have to sync it to your laptop, right?
Well, when you buy a comic on Comixology on the computer, I point because there's a computer over there.
Right.
You
guys have never seen the other wall.
I log in as Greg Miller, right? And then I buy my comics, and then they are on my account.
Right.
So then when I come to my computer, now you're
right. I got you. Okay.
You're pointing out a step. Correct. There is the thing here of where there's on device and then in the cloud.
Got it.
So I haven't fooled around enough with the app yet because it's new to me. But like every comic I've ever purchased from Comixology is here, and I can just go and download them. And I can just click that one and download my last 120 books.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I mean that is an extra step.
Yeah, and it's annoying. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is something we face in our day jobs when we're talking about video game companies, and people freak out that Sony's charging this or Xbox is changing that or whatever. We're so quick to overlook the hard facts of being a business, right? Like businesses exist to make money and get you the services you need, right? And like Amazon, I'm sure, like they are a smart company, right? They must have weighed options of this 30% is costing us X millions of dollars. If we lose this, if we change it, we're gonna lose probably estimate this percent, but this percent will come back, and it's like it's got to work out.
Yeah, they did a cost benefit analysis on that, and they were like, we're losing $40 million a year, say, just to Apple. Yeah, and if we do this, we'll lose $20 million. So we make $20 million.
But that's the thing is like. It's not even, I don't think it's even a traditional cost benefit analysis being like, we're losing money. It's being like, we're not getting money that our direct competitor, that our job is to put out of business, because that's what Amazon wants to do to Apple. Like everything they're doing and everything they have going on is to fucking compete with Apple. Everything, you know?
It's smart.
From like their devices to, the Amazon box and the store and everything. Like everything. They want Apple, they want them. And so like it's not even about like them losing money to a third party of some sort. It's losing money to the company that they fucking hate.
It's true.
And so like that they buy things like Comixology just like they made the deal with HBO to fuck their competitors. Like the HBO Go deal or the HBO deal on Amazon Prime fucks Netflix. Well, this deal fucks Apple. And like that's like when you have a lot of money, you throw it around and like.
God, I want to get there. I want to get there one day.
This really sucks for users, because whenever a feature is taken away from them, whether or not they actually use it, like I don't buy comics from the iPad. Like that's not something I would ever do. I don't really care.
Historically, I do when I have one-offs, but it's never. And I understand that. I think maybe we're in a privileged group, right? And I'm sorry to cut you off. Sorry to be a Nick Scarpino to you.
Go.
That's what people say in the comments. They don't like you.
They said that in the comments of one video, and
we highlighted it and framed it off camera.
I've been better.
For me personally, it's my friend says this comic is great, and I'm like, okay, great. I trust their opinion. I sit down and I usually off a computer buy 10 and then go. So it'll be annoying when I finish those 10 and I'm like, I want to read the next one. I gotta go to my computer. It's all the way over there. You know what I mean? Like when I fly somewhere, I load I make sure I'm loaded up on comics and go. But it's
I mean for me, like the thing that draws me to comics is not necessarily art; it's the storytelling, right? It's the fact that you can get lost in a really fleshed out world that can be fleshed out over the span of hundreds of issues potentially. And so when I get in that mindset where I'm vibing and the story's really resonating with me, there's an addictive quality to it that I want to stay there in that mindset for as long as humanly possible, right? And that's when I start marathoning through these things. And I think from a business standpoint, I think you'd want to keep your customer in that mindset as much as possible, because literally, like I said, I bought a bunch of Invincibles when they were on sale. Well, guess what? I also bought a bunch of them when they weren't on sale because I needed to know what happened. And now those were like the 5 issues or the 8 issues that I bought that's expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're still addicted to it, are you not going to just go to the website and then buy them later anyways?
Probably. But it's one more. It's like we all work on a website, right? And there's a good rule of thumb, which is like, don't put any barriers between, put as few barriers between the consumer and the content as humanly possible, right? And like that's why we don't want to route people through to like 30 different things to find this show, right? We want them to come to one place and find it, and we want
GameOverGreggy.com.
Right, and we want them to watch as much of it as humanly possible, without having to stop and like if people had to download this and it took you 20 minutes to download, like people would probably be less into it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think ultimately, like I'm saying, it's a smart business move for them because ultimately I think they probably have something more in store for us than this process.
I mean, that's the thing. Like I feel like this is going to end up being good at the end. Like it sucks that a feature's getting taken away, but obviously Amazon's now going to focus on comics a bit more, promote them,
which is cool,
more.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, the App Store thing, it's more about discoverability than it is about like being able to purchase it right there. It's being able to look at like, oh, what is hot right now, what's going on, and all this stuff.
Sure.
It's like, oh, I want to.
And you get the free, like, you get the free first issues of everything too, so you can read stuff oftentimes with it.
Yeah,
which I think is pretty cool.
You can still do that on the website, and like with
you
Amazon,
can still do it on the app too. I think you can still read it if it's free. I think you can read it right there.
Oh, cool. Well.
It just doesn't seem like that big of a deal, right? Like, Amazon's already the master of one-click shopping. Like, they've always been better than iTunes. iTunes has always been this cumbersome garbage. I fucking hate using it. And, Amazon has always been like, sign in, we remember you, we're not fucking crazy. Like, like you could find... Like I buy the analog to me is I buy a ton of books, right? Like on Kindle, and I have to go on my computer. Sometimes I go on my iPad, just go to the browser and buy them. And it's so easy. It's like almost too easy. Like sometimes I'll wake up, I'll be up late at night. I want to read.
There's a beer next to you, and there's 40 new books.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, oh my god! I'll wake up because I like to. I like start reading something really interesting, and I go look for books on it. And I'll just buy them. Whatever. I'm like, this is almost too easy. Yeah.
Let's see.
So it's the same thing. Maybe they're doing. You say it's a bad for the user. Maybe it's good for the user. Maybe it's going to be like, why don't you think twice before buying $50 worth of comics today?
See, I don't.
Think not that I'm sure that's what they want, but it might be the kind of
that. Well, see, here's my thing. I will support this if it eventually leads to some sort of subscription. Like you're talking about subscriptions, but you don't mean it in the same sense of Netflix. Like, when are they going to do? And now Amazon has the capability of doing this because they've got the power behind. They're a huge corporation. When are they going to do the $10 unlimited comics per month subscription model?
Marvel does that.
Yeah,
do they?
Marvel does it for,
but it's older stuff, and then after a month or 2 months, it pops up. Not a Marvel guy, sorry, DC.
Yeah, and the problem with that though is, there are so many comics that come out every.
Sure, but here's what I'm saying. Like, I know there are only so many, right? That's not like. I mean, are you saying there's too few or too?
I think there's too many to be able to offer that at a competitive price that makes sense.
Yeah, but what if I don't?
When it comes to like these TV shows and stuff, like you're not getting the newest stuff always.
Sometimes you are.
I mean, like with what?
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you'll get that
WWE
season like right when it's over. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Kidding.
Like,
no,
PlayStation Plus.
Sense, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, well, with Hulu, you can get stuff that's there, but that's not a subscription model. I see what you're saying. What I'm saying is like they give you, you have to limit it. Like Netflix is limited. You're not getting anything really that good except for an occasional cartoon that I think is amazing, like Ultimate Spider-Man,
Young Justice.
But you don't get the newest Ultimate Spider-Man.
Sure, but I wouldn't care about that, right? Because
so Marvel does it now then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But Netflix isn't just studio specific, right? So Netflix puts everything on their platform that they can get their hands on, right? Similar to Spotify. I'm thinking more like Spotify, right? Where Spotify is a third party company that can get any song from any label, right? When can Comixology become that thing? Because that's what I would pay $10 a month for, which is I would pay $10 a month to be able to read any DC, any Marvel, any Image comic that I wanted beyond a certain point, right? Like, before a certain point. I think that'd be freaking awesome. Because I'd love to go back and reread like all the old DC comic books, like all the old like Frank Miller stuff, anything that he did. And I'd pay $10 a month for that, and I totally forget that I was paying $10 a month. Going back to that,
that's why I think this is also not that big of a deal. I mean, I think it is a huge deal, and it's like it does suck that something's being taken away. But the way that like me specifically, when I buy comics, like either a friend recommends it to me, or I go to like IGN and see like what they're talking about. And then a lot of research. You just go to Wikipedia and just kind of read, and you're like, oh, I'm interested in that.
Right.
And I'm never going to buy one issue. You're right. You buy 10. Someone recommends you something. You're going to get at least enough of them, at least 6.
Yeah.
To be like, am I into this or not? And you buy them at once. I'm not going to buy just issue 7 and then maybe issue 8 and then maybe issue 9. What? No, I'm going to buy the next 10. To prepare for the airplane or to prepare for whatever. It's like...
So far, my biggest complaint with it, right, is that now that there's a new app, my library isn't there. So I have to re-download everything, which sucks. Because I had so many books in there. I know that some of them weren't read, so I don't want to just do like the blind download everything. Because then I'll just have a million books that are going to say new, I imagine. But whatever. Back to Jerry over here. He ends his article like this. There is no upside to this development, people. There are no positives. Yes, I know. Now Apple can't prevent sex criminals from appearing in Comixology in-store or in-app storefront because there is no in-app storefront. This is progress. I'm outraged and deeply concerned for the future of digital comics. You should be too. Shame on you, Comixology. Shame on you, Amazon. Shame on you, Jeff Bezos. And shame on you, supposed comic book fans, if you don't make your voices heard against this.
Yeah, that's some dramatic shit right there.
And see, that was my problem with it. I respect everything he's done as a comic book creator, but I'm a comic book fan, and I think from working in the internet on a day-to-day basis that this is a giant knee-jerk reaction. That anytime,
it's 100% a knee-jerk reaction.
Anytime anything happens on the internet, it's the worst thing ever. Oh my God, today that Will Powers always puts it great. He'll always tweet something along the lines of, "Oh, so this is what we're mad about today." Like, we're always mad about something, and in a week, everyone will be accepting of the new Comixology platform.
It's just silly to put it that way in this sense. I'll just put it like it is. Apple is not necessarily a ubiquitous company, right? Like, they are going to go, like, they have great computers. I have a MacBook, I have an iPhone, and I have an iPad. I'm a huge Apple consumer. But they are not an untouchable company like Amazon is. For Amazon, which is a much more secure company, and is going to be here in its status for a lot longer than Apple is going to be, to buy something like that is good for comic fans because Amazon is fucking really legit, really legit.
They're not making this this is not a purchase. This is an investment for them, right? They clearly see that there are fans out there that are yearning for something, and the platform is not quite there yet, right? I think you're going to see an evolution of this.
Yeah.
That's something that we're not expecting because honestly, I think that the digital platform is probably still failing the comic book industry. Like, I don't know how. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the statistics on it, but they're probably doing better than they were 20 years ago. But they're probably still not outrageous success like they should be.
Yeah. Wait, that's a question I have. How does this affect the creators of the comics at all?
Well,
I've looked around. His Forbes letter here didn't point it out. I was over here on this other article. I've been trying to figure out what exactly the breakdown is. Comixology has not released a statement on this. They're totally just like,
should we call Linda?
Flip the file. Portillo's is being sold, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. I will kickstart us to buy that, but we will need $360 million.
We need a lot of venture capital.
I think we can get it. I think we can get it.
I don't know if we can. I almost had that be my my topic, and I was gonna be like, how do we run a hot dog chain business?
I'd quit everything we do right now to run Portillo's. That's an empire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hot dog empire.
So yeah, Greg, I'll close with just my own personal opinion saying this is not a big deal. This is actually probably a good thing ultimately for Comixology and for comic book fans and for the comic book industry. And that a company like Apple is very reliant. They make a ton of money on the App Store, no doubt, but they are reliant on new technologies. And if they don't find that new technology really soon, they're going to be a very old school Apple again because the tides are changing. They're losing market share with iPhone. They're losing market share with iPad. They're making money, but and they're profitable, and I wish I owned Apple stock, but their shit's not written in the stars yet. Frankly, Amazon is. People are always going to want to buy stuff. Amazon undercuts everybody. Free shipping, Amazon Prime, all this stuff. They are going to be fine. Amazon will be here in 50 years. Yeah. And, they're always innovating, and they make it easy for the shopper. Amazon has been one of the best things that's happened to the American consumer ever. And, so to have them... they're very different than Apple. They're all about like cheapness. They're like the Walmart of the internet.
Yeah.
Apple is like, the Tiffany's of the internet.
They're the high end.
Yeah. And like, they're very different companies,
Here, I have three things to close on for me, and they're all kind of quick. One, talking about this, Amazon's cool, I think. I like Amazon. I like what they're doing.
Never had a problem with them.
They're going, what if we were talking about here, your unlimited comics, right? What if unlimited comics in the storefront came through the Amazon Kindle, and that was tied in with Comixology, and Comixology could then have the storefront there or whatever? What if they developed some kind of tablet tech for that? And I'm just putting it out there. Just chew on.
Yeah.
So wait, a tablet just for comics?
No, a Kindle that does everything that a Kindle does now, but also has the Comixology storefront and everything else you want, and they can do a subscription model where you get every image for $10. That could be really cool. And maybe that's what we were talking about, them building towards something. Maybe they could be building towards.
They might put that out.
My iPad was bought. My iPad was bought for a comics reader.
Me too.
So if somebody comes out with a better comics reader and I can do more cool stuff with it,
it doesn't capitalism, brosif.
It doesn't atrociously load like this one.
Imagine a full I know a lot of people don't like this. I know a lot of people like the backlit screen, but what if it wasn't a backlit screen that was full color and actually looked like the comic book? Or they came out with a new technology that was that. I would buy that thing. And plus, because if it was Amazon, it'd be like $200 maybe max. They don't sell stuff for like really expensive, which is awesome.
Number two on my closing things. In July 2011, Amazon made a similar change to its Kindle app, removing access to the Kindle store to comply with Apple's regulations on in-app purchases. So that's how long that's been gone.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what
that
that did for them, the business and stuff. Like, because now we're looking at like, oh, whatever. I wonder how it's going to affect them. But I wonder.
Sure.
We have proof from before.
Yeah.
For a company so profitable, it's probably worth them to eat it and make
Right.
sure Apple doesn't get any of the money.
Right. And then the final thing is that the DC Marvel Image app, all that is run by Comixology, and that still has in-store purchasing.
Exactly.
Our good friend Little Sin tweeted a photo that was funny of my iPad Saturday, and it was just the Comixology app, and then my iPad Sunday, and it was each one of the publishers' individual apps, so that he could still purchase in app like that.
See, that's
so if it is a huge deal to you, you can still do that.
I wonder how long they're going to keep that. And if that's maybe some weird deal with specifically
I think it's
that.
a weird deal with who made your app, because it's one of those things, like, obviously they're in partnerships with these people and DC Comics and everybody else. So if they were like, now we need to strip this out, and DC's like, we don't want to deal with our fans flipping out, company X can start carrying our comics digitally, and then Comixology would crumble.
Yeah. Man.
Let the market sort it out.
Mm-hmm.
If you hate it so much, don't use it.
Yeah, go to comic book shops again. I won't. I'd go back to not reading
See,
comics.
I go to Amazon and buy the actual physical versions.
I don't want that. I don't want that crap. I love it. I'm so sick of having crap.
You're a physical media kind of guy. You love that stuff.
I love it so much.
I'm super happy to read a comic book on my phone.
I can't do that. You and I have talked about that before.
You would think you couldn't do it, but
I know I
on
can't.
Comixology, it's really cool.
No, I can't do it.
They do a really
I
good
know, and they do
job.
the panels and everything. I don't like it.
It tells
I
a
wanna see
story.
all.
It tells it in an emotion way. I think it's really cool. It's not ideal. I would prefer to do it on an iPad, but if it's just me and my phone waiting somewhere for a meeting or something like that, I just pop it open. It's awesome.
Yeah, reading on iPad.
Plus, you look like you're
specifically.
You look like you're checking email when you do it on your phone because you're just like this.
Yeah, you can't do that with an iPad.
Tim, what's your topic?
So my topic today is cell phones. Now that might sound like a silly topic, and it is, but I'm talking just about your memories with cell phones and how important they were to you guys. I don't know where you guys were at in your lives when you first got cell phones.
College.
You in college?
I was in my junior year of college when I got a cell phone for the first, or sophomore year.
Okay.
Probably.
I started driving in my mom, and it wasn't a cell phone; it was a car phone.
Oh, the car phones are the
and
best.
it was just like a long receiver that had a power plug, and it was literally put in the glove box in case the car ever broke down or I needed to call it. And I remember I had my cell phone number, which was my cell phone number for the rest of my not until I changed it to a California number, but it was in Sharpie on the back of it. Because the hell am I to remember this dumb number that I'll never use?
I don't even know what a car phone is.
The car phone would be in the middle, usually in the console between the driver's seat and the passenger seat, and it was attached to the power of the car, and it was a box, and you would.
Interesting.
I remember
very OG.
The first cellular phone we had, it was when my grandfather was dying, and my Portillo. Hey, I think it was my mom or my Portillo, bro, come here.
Shut up.
Mom or aunt had it, and it was in a bag. It had like an external battery that it was so big that
they were big.
It rested on it, came out, and it was corded to the battery. Like that's how crazy it used to be. The one I had was a car phone that it was way long, and then it just set. It wasn't like Zach Morris thick.
No,
similar to that.
But just Googled car phone out there. They were awesome. They were awesome. I always wanted one. I never could afford it.
But yeah, I had it and I never ever used it. And then I remember that when I went to college, freshman year, I did not have a cell phone. And I came back and my mom was like, we need to get you a cell phone so we can actually communicate with you. And I got that Nokia blue brick phone that everyone had.
Snake.
Yeah, with Snake.
That's why I brought this topic up. It's these weird memories because once I started thinking about it, I saw a Motorola Razr.
Oh.
So that is what triggered this. And I was like, man, that hits me.
My wife had that phone. Until our second year of marriage, she had that phone.
Alfredo had his till he got his iPhone.
I had to.
That's what I had.
Literally, that's what my wife. My wife had the flip up. It was in like pristine condition because my wife takes good care of all of her technology. It's amazing. And I had to pry that thing out of her hands and put an iPhone 4 into it because I was like, you've got to get rid of this thing.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to answer email on your phone. She's like, I'm not going to do it. I don't need that.
See, this is interesting because like for me, it was middle school. Cell phones, that was middle school. And like while you'd be aiming people, you'd be like talking about what cell phone do you have and stuff like that. Like, it's just crazy where like I remember my first cell phone, it was not the flip phones. It was like just a I don't even know how you. It was kind of like it wasn't a Nokia, but it was like that.
Yeah,
right?
it was a ton
and
of
everyone
them.
had those. And
Solid state.
Then flip phones came out. Like a
Yeah.
clamshell design.
Oh, yeah.
And flip phones were like the coolest thing ever. And
They were so small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I got they were not small though, which is the best.
Oh,
part.
my flip
When you
phones were tiny.
well, the Razor was. I think.
Compare-
Well, the Razor was.
Well, compared to like my first phone was a Kyocera phone that was probably like this big.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Just
I had
entire hand.
I had a Samsung that was like a little guy.
Yeah.
Just like a little.
I loved the flip phone, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
because the flip phone can do one thing that no other phone will ever be able to do. That cool.
Oh.
And then I'm done. Cool. And you just knew you were gonna feel it when you shut that phone. It was like click.
Yeah.
And you knew you thought you looked cool. In reality, you looked like a giant
See,
dildo.
so there was
No, you looked
I think it was the
awesome.
Samsung, the T720 series,
I don't know what
which
that is.
was like the flip phone
Okay.
that everybody wanted, and then everyone got it, and you could take off the cover and like switch it out with like different covers. You go to Chinatown and like they'd have like all the bootleg different covers you could use, and it was like that was such a big deal. It was changing out it wasn't even a case. It was like just the phone, and like that was the coolest thing. And being able to you could make purchases on the phone of downloading ringtones and being able to like change your ringtone. So it wasn't just the Nokia sound effects and stuff. It was you get to listen to these horrible MIDI versions of songs you love, like Eminem's "Without Me," which was my ringtone for way too long.
Yeah.
And
should still be a ringtone.
it was just so like I remember that being such a big deal. And then then eventually I'll never forget being at my friend's house for his birthday, and then we're all just sitting there doing something stupid, probably like playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and all of a sudden the like TV, like a commercial comes on, we all just go just look over, and it was the Razor.
Yeah.
And we just see it just spinning and stuff, and like I remember all of us being like, oh my god, like that is what rich people do.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I hope that one day we get to see one in real life.
Yeah. I have that story from the opposite end where I got a Razor. I had graduated college. Maybe I was still doing... No, I was in a shirt and tie, so I must have graduated. And I was working at the paper. And I went out to an event at a middle school where I was reporting on what they were doing. And my phone rang, and I pulled it out and flipped it open like a badass.
Baller.
And took it. And all the kids were like, he's got a Razor! And they like grouped around me while I was on the
That
phone.
would have been me.
Yeah,
that was so crazy. Like it was the holy grail of like, and yeah, when we'd see people, it'd be like, oh my god, Razor, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, do you remember how fast you got at texting on those things?
Oh, yeah.
Where it was like
Oh
eventually,
yeah, like the 1 2 3 1 2 3.
yeah. It blew my mind there because I think maybe it was Nokia or maybe it was my Verizon phone could do the predictive text stuff. Remember that where it was like you wouldn't you just like click and it would figure it out for you, and I was like, this is cheating. Because I loved the AA.
I like the challenge.
And if you messed up halfway, you're like, oh, there's no going back now. She'll just have to figure out what I mean.
Scarpino Texting Association.
There you go. God, it was the bomb. Yeah, I had the Nokia phone. I was one of the Razor. Then there was something called the Crazer, right?
The Razor, yeah.
What's the Crazer?
That was the one that it wasn't a flip phone. It was just a.
Oh, it kind of flipped out. Like there was a time when
It had a bigger screen and stuff, and then that came out around the time, if I remember correctly, when the original Apple phone came out before the iPhone, where it was Apple teamed up with, I want to say AT&T, and they made a phone where it had iTunes support in it, and you could play music. So it was like an MP3 player. It was kind of like an iPod, but it was also a phone.
yeah.
And then it was fucking shit. It was so bad. Like I remember my friend also. That was another one where we're like,
Google
oh my
that. I don't
god, I
remember
wish
this.
we had the Apple phone. And then like Janie Lee got it and was like, oh, this thing sucks, Janie. Like, go away.
I had
I don't ever want to talk to you again, Janie Lee.
Yeah.
I had a BlackBerry. So when everyone else was going Apple, I was like, I wanted to stay on Verizon. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna go BlackBerry. I'm gonna prove everyone wrong with the BlackBerries.
I'm going to prove everyone wrong.
It's better for business. It's better for you. No, it's not better for me.
Yeah, I always
was
like that with
terrible.
Palm Pre.
Oh, you loved
Oh,
your
you had the
Palm Pre. I
Palm?
forgot about that.
Yeah, Palm Pre was fucking legit as shit. It really was. WebOS was awesome. WebOS is still better than anything Apple's ever done, and I've been using iPhone for a long time now. But yeah, I love because I had a Kyocera in the late 90s. I think it was like 2000, and then like a bunch of flip phones. And I don't know about you, but all my flip phones were smaller than this. Everyone I ever had. So, and I have them all.
I'm
The only
talking
thing,
about like the thickness.
Oh, the thickness.
Because
Yeah,
like
'cause I
the
was gonna say,
T720 was like that thick, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a thin one.
mine weren't too much
Let's
thicker than an
let's
iPhone.
Let's take a total. All Apple? Are we all
Yeah.
iPhones?
Yeah, I have an iPhone.
They win.
They won.
It's crazy for me to meet somebody who doesn't use an iPhone.
There are
There are
many of them.
I
They're
know.
a cult. They're a
Let me drive
cult,
that back.
though.
Let me pull that one back a bit. Sorry. Crazy for me to meet someone in San Francisco that doesn't use an iPhone.
Yeah,
everyone in San Francisco uses an iPhone, almost.
I don't know.
Scott Lowe is the only one who seems to sub in and out with something
There's
else.
a lot of Android users. What's crazy to me is seeing people with flip phones or stuff like, or razors. Like my friend James had a freaking flip phone until like literally a month ago when he got his first iPhone. And now he's blown away. It's crazy to see him.
It is wild when you finally succumb to it, because I stuck with WebOS for a long time because that operating system was awesome, and it was like so quick, so much quicker than an iPhone, and it had tactile buttons on it too, which was like really awesome. And the screen was nice.
We get it. You like it.
But my buddy was an electrical. I went to Northeastern, was an electrical engineer, worked on a phone too, and
a lot of good that got him.
And
begging for change now.
Probably works at Apple now.
No, he doesn't. He works at the same firm. But he, we used to talk about like, the advancements that other companies were making were usually overshadowed by how big these companies were. Like, Android with Google and Apple with iPhone kind of just pushed everyone out, and a lot of good ideas, whatever. Yeah, but like we live in a bubble with Apple here because Apple's user base with iPhone is plummeting and is in like the teens, I think. So everyone we know has Apple, but if you go like normal place in the United States, most people have Android.
And do you think that's because the allure of the Apple device is just worn off, or it's because they haven't iterated? Haven't actually.
I think it's because there's so many Android devices.
Yeah,
there always has been. Like Apple's share of the phone market has never been like dominant. Like if you looked at it, it was only, I think at the peak of it, it was only like 10% of the market or something like that, because there are so many other types of phones out there that compete. Like
I don't think it was that low.
I think it was pretty low. I don't think it's ever been like insanely vastly dominant.
Insanely vastly
dominant. Well, because you have to remember also, like,
I think they dominated the smartphone category.
Maybe the smartphone category, yeah. But
I remember seeing they originally dominated that. Then it got dialed back down once Android started doing a lot more and more and more.
But I mean,
and it's Metro PCS. You can get like.
I think they make the bulk of their money off of iTunes and their subscription, or their services.
Yeah, but Apple has the whole approach, the old Nintendo approach, which is like we make the hardware. We make the money off the hardware. You use our operating system, but like Google's very different. They're like, anyone can make a phone. We don't give a fuck. In fact, you're going to make our phones cheaper, and then we make all the money on the back end with licensing fees, and then on Google Play or whatever. So it's like, to me, like that makes sense. And Apple, did a very un-Steve Jobs thing, which was make a cheaper iPhone, which Steve Jobs would have never ever done, because Apple's always been looked at as like a really luxury product. You want to make it really expensive and nice.
Yeah, that was the first step. I knew they were like, they're on their way down.
Yeah, Apple's in trouble.
That will look worse than a Samsung device.
We'll save it for another day. But Apple's going to be in a world of hurt, I think, in the next 10 years.
I don't think so. I think they're the one. They definitely have to come up with something big.
Yeah, because like I was talking about with my father when I was home on Long Island, and I was like, we were talking about Apple and how he's amazed by Amazon, and like how he's an older man, and he's like I was on my phone and I just bought,
what's that Apple device you get, Colin?
He has an Android, and he was all like, it's so cool because I just went on my Amazon app and I ordered something and it just came to the door, and I was like totally blown away by that. I'm like, yeah, it's really cool, but like we ended up segueing and talking about iPads and iPhones, and I was like, the beauty about Apple has always been with Steve Jobs has always been like you didn't even understand that you didn't have something that you need,
right?
Like
he filled the need that you didn't even
know you couldn't even comprehend, like,
and it's so true.
And it happened with Mac, Apple II, Apple 1 and Apple II, and then really Macintosh, and then it happened again with the iPod. The iPod, and then the iPhone.
The iPod was the first thing that really blew me away, where I was like, because there had been other devices out there, like Sony had been trying to figure it out for a while. Right? You had the Walkman, you had the Discman, the little
Discman.
What was the smaller one, the mini disc? Yeah,
I had a mini disc player,
and then all of a sudden Apple comes out with this device that looked more clunky than everything else, and it had that horrible spin wheel.
It did not look more clunky.
At first, it wasn't a spin wheel. The first time it was buttons. I don't know if you guys remember. Yeah, and like it
didn't design aesthetic wise. It looked totally different than what Sony had been putting out to market. Right? Sony put like the futuristic, like they had and this was just something that you're like, this is friendly. I want to interact with this, right?
Shit the first time.
That thing was a brick.
Yeah.
It was a brick, but like
that's why they broke it so easily.
Revolutionized the game, man. It was just like,
yeah, they're not the first ones. They weren't the first.
Spinning.
They didn't make it the MP3 player. They didn't invent the MP3 player. They made it something appealing to make it feel like you needed it. And they didn't invent the smartphone. They didn't invent the tablet. Like they have these things, and you're like, because my dad admitted, he's like, I didn't realize I needed a smartphone. Now I can't imagine not having one. And I'm like, but that's the thing, like. They don't have that magic anymore because Steve Jobs is dead, and like I hate like put in such crude terms, but like now they don't have anything. Like what is the next?
They got the smartwatch.
Yeah, I think that.
But that's not even tech. They weren't even the first. They weren't even the first to market.
Yeah, but that's exactly the point, though. They don't need to be. They need to be the ones to do it right and to make people realize why they need it. And I think that's what we're all waiting for. Is I have no idea. Like, I do not want to buy one of those. It's not interesting to me.
That thing's not going to be anything. I don't think.
No, it's
the
not
watch is
going
not going to be anything. That's to me that's redundant.
To me, that's going to be the same as like the iPod Nano. Remember those things that was like this big and you couldn't pick the song. You just kind of had to like
shuffles.
Was it the shuffle?
Yeah.
Like that thing where you're like, okay, that's kind of cool, and it's gonna flash and then it's gonna go out. I think that's my theory.
Well, the shuffle's one of the most successful iPod lives.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it really?
Definitely.
They still selling them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's one of the only ones that
impressive.
do still sell.
A little tiny one that's like this big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you clip on while you go running.
To me, they're funny because
I've
they're
seen
very
them in movies.
they're very
I hate
like
those
Nintendo to me, like where they have a ton of money, so they can afford to make like a lot of mistakes. But if you give them a few years of making mistakes and then slowly they become not profitable, which they're still far away from not being profitable because they makes a fucking ton of money, then you quickly find yourself in trouble with a business that size. We mustn't forget, in the mid 90s, Apple was 2 months away or 2 quarters away from closing up completely, and like they've come a long way, since then, and are a huge megalithic company. But I do not think that they are an immortal company. They have to come up with something
cool
new
shit.
because people like cheap goods, and cheap electronics are not hard to come by, and quality cheap electronics are not hard to come by. I buy Apple products because I really like the quality. Mm-hmm. I will never use anything but a MacBook ever again. I will always use an iPhone. I will always use an iPad, but not everyone has that kind of luxury. I have disposable income.
Well, that's the thing. You talk about luxury.
And,
it was. I mean, I remember the day I got my first iPhone, and it's back to what you're talking about. I mean, I remember I used to have the stupid flip phone still. I had the Razr till I had the iPhone, and it was one of those things of like, when I got the job at IGN, it would suck to come in the morning, leave at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, come in the morning at 9:30, 10 o'clock and have all these emails, right? Now it was like, it's going to be awesome to be able to check the email on the go. And I sold my car the night Barack Obama got elected the first time. And the next fucking day we walked in with that money and bought iPhone. Like, that's what I did. That's what I did with that money. You know what I mean? And then from there on out, I had the iPhone. And that was like what we're talking about, right? Like, that was a huge investment. That was like buying a computer, right? It was like, what, $500, $600?
$600 was
still,
the first iPhone was $600.
Yeah.
And that was insane.
See, I didn't buy the first one.
There's
I remember
still $600.
Sure.
Well,
but now we all have
before
money.
it was $600, like
No matter
no matter what, yeah.
But I remember when Craig Harris got it. Craig Harris was the first guy I knew to get an iPhone or whatever, and it's like mind-boggling to see this thing, and then slowly understand why you needed it, and then a year later buy my own.
It's remarkable. It's a remarkable machine.
I remember, so going back to my flip phone, it was the first one that had internet. It was like when internet phone was like first a thing, and I'll never forget going to GameFAQs and being able to actually read the forums wherever the hell I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, my life will never be the same.
Yeah.
And iPhones, smartphones in general, just completely, man. It's just crazy what they did to us as people.
It really is. It's hard to think of life without them. So when I think about the wearable tech, I'm like, I mean, what could it possibly bring to my life that I don't have right now, right?
Well, I mean,
that's what I want them to tell me.
That's the exciting thing, right? You're like,
that's a good point. They can twist the narrative, but I just don't think like when I see those watch commercials for Samsung or whatever,
You're running
I'm like,
and here's your heartbeat and
I'm
here's
like,
this.
this is stupid.
I mean, honestly, I'll tell you right
they're
now.
not selling it to me.
The next piece of technology that I think is super cool, and I'm gonna wait several iterations, is Google Glass.
Oh.
When Google Glasses, you can go into a store and buy whatever glasses you want that then can give you an overlay of
Like a
stupid
HUD?
information. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't
Fucking
know.
give me a HUD.
That's
yes.
so weird to me. Like, I don't know if I need that. Google
You don't?
Glass,
No,
when I
no.
see someone with Google Glass, I'm like, oh.
Colin, you know better than anyone. We don't need any of the shit we have. Like,
Yeah,
think
but
about
see,
if the EMP went off tomorrow. What do we really need? Not much. You know what I mean? Like, that's the
bottle
whole
of
thing.
Eagle Rare. And
I feel like
and a gun.
I feel like there's still like, but that's the thing. Like the HUD, I think the next iteration is having all that information right. Like
No
display for
way.
you on your wrist.
I hate wearing watches, so I don't want to wear it.
See, I like
and I
wearing
think I'll
watches.
get more information here.
I think that's just gonna cause more car accidents. Oh, look at that! I'm going native. Oh,
See, or not. I don't know. Like, I often think about it, like, with how Google Glass works with the speakers and stuff, being able to give you the GPS directions
Right.
and just kind of see
Turn
the
left,
GPS
turn right.
You're looking at your phone. You're looking at your thing. Like, if it is there.
You just got timmed.
I don't know.
It'll be
I
interesting.
think my attention span, I'd constantly be taking in everything, and I think it's too much for me.
I think Google Glass is like way too Orwellian for me. I'm not interested in it at all. I think it's fucking creepy. But someone did put a video of Google Glass on the internet about 6 months ago of them playing hockey with it on. Very cool. Like no, but like the first
I
person.
hate it, but I'll wear it for hockey.
No, but the first person perspective, like the video, like the cinematography that you can do with it is so cool. Like I played hockey for a long time. It is like being on the ice, like watching that guy play in HD was fucking awesome. So like that kind of stuff's cool. But I'm always creeped out when I see these dudes wearing Google Glass, and a lot of bars and restaurants will not let you wear Google Glass inside. And I don't blame them because it's fucking weird. Why?
Yeah, well, it's like upskirts, right? Like, I mean, somebody's gonna use it to be creepy. So yeah, I can totally understand why you wouldn't wear it. Harder to put your head up a skirt, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't wrapped my head around how to do upskirts with. I'm just saying, that's why I didn't want to wear it. Creepy stuff happens in bars. You don't need creepy photos.
How do you do upskirts normally, just with your phone? Just like on
I've never understood upskirts.
Can you explain to me how you normally do it?
I've never understood how anyone... I can barely take a selfie, let alone put a digital camera on my shoe.
I think you're just like you're standing on the BART or whatever. You tell me how you do it. How do you
I know I've seen when I was in Japan, there were a bunch of signs on how
I'm driving out here.
Beware of people taking upskirts or whatever, and they showed people with cameras on their shoes.
That's inventive.
Yeah.
That's really inventive.
People are creeps.
They are.
People are creeps, dude.
I think Japan is different. It just is.
Just careful with wherever you're going with this line.
I'm done there.
No,
I mean, like,
there's more. They're definitely more. I'd say risque as far as like
just ridiculous things.
I've never seen in America a sign "Beware of upskirts." It's such it is such a problem in Japan that they need to put up a sign.
Yeah.
In America, we're just like don't look out for
that.
shitting
That's
bums.
Weird. Yeah, exactly.
You're on your own is basically what our signs say.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck. It's just the sign that you get on a BART. It says good luck. How terrifying would that be?
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It's really terrifying.
Underneath or above it, it's like a pooping bomb, an upskirt, drugs, syringes, and then it just says good luck.
That's hilarious. So the birthday party I was at when I saw the Razor commercial was in El Cerrito, which is in the East Bay. It's kind of near Oakland. And when we were, we got on BART. We're a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Jesus God, I don't like this story already.
All of us just get on BART, and then we're going, and like more and more people are getting off the train, and we're like almost near Richmond, which is a not good place. And there's this guy that he just looks at us. Where you going? And we're just like, El Cerrito. He just goes, "You're gonna die." And we're like, well, he's like, "Make sure you get off before Richmond. Good luck." And then he gets off, and we were horrified. We got off the BART, ran into the Target. We just sat there and called my friend's mom, like, "Dude, come get us now."
That would terrify me.
That would
also terrify me. Also, if I were a bum, that's exactly what I would do.
You're gonna die, Charlie. It turns out it's like a guy in a business suit with a briefcase. You're gonna die.
That would be even scarier. You'd be like, this guy looks like he knows what he's talking about. This guy's got.
And also, we had our backpacks filled with Xboxes, the original Xbox and Halo, and a bunch of controllers. We were like, gonna have a LAN party, and I was like, "We're gonna get robbed of our Xboxes." Yeah,
that was fun. I only had one LAN party in my entire life. I had to take my PC over to my friend's house, and I just gotten a Voodoo graphics card so we could play. I want to say it was like Doom multiplayer against each other, or Quake. Maybe it was
Doom 2.
Quake. Was it Doom 2? I can't remember which one it was. It was 3D. Anyway, it was so much fun. What are you doing?
I'm readjusting what you just turned around with your things just to make sure you're happy.
Fine. I can hear everything.
I remember the first time I ever heard of a LAN party. We were having I had read about them obviously forever in EGM, but the first time I ever saw one in the wild, we were having a house party at the Antler House my sophomore year, and all of a sudden, like, it just started vacating, and it was all the new kids. And I was like, "Where are you all going?" And they're like, "We're going over to Devin's house. He's playing Halo." I'm like, "Oh, a bunch of pussies." And I just drank my beer.
Yeah, I was never interested in LAN parties. Because I remember in college, people even were connecting their Xboxes together, and I had an Xbox, and I was, they're like, "You want to play Halo?" And I'm like, "Not a prayer." And they're like, "All right, can we borrow your Xbox?" I'm like, "Go ahead." And then I just play my
NES,
my JRPGs, whatever. I've always been a single player guy.
Yeah,
I would never I remember when people were having LAN parties for Halo. I was so stoked. Or Doom 2 and like Quake back in the day, and I was just like, I don't care. I just don't want to play with you.
Yeah, I'm a single player guy too, but local multiplayer.
Yeah, local multiplayer is good. That's why Smash is good and Street Fighter was good. And
like, there's nothing better than playing
Mario
Capture
Golf.
the Flag in two different rooms and hearing like the different rooms screaming. Like, oh, it was the best.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Game Over Greggy show. Every week, 4 best friends gather around this table, each bringing a random topic of conversation and discuss it for your amusement. If you like that, like the video, subscribe to us at youtube.com/GameOverGreggy, and watch for a video. Well, I'm not going to put that up there. Don't even bother. Nope. I did it once for you when you said I wouldn't do it. Now you're just looking like a psychopath.
Or you go Jesus with the electricity.
Are you Jesus?
Believe in me.
Oh, good Lord. Make sure you like the videos. We put up each topic as a breakout video each and every day. If you want it early, go over to GameOverGreggy.bandcamp.com. Every Friday we post the full show as an MP3 for $1. If you don't like that, go get it for free at GameOverGreggy.com. Go buy this Sean Finnegan t-shirt along with a number of other ones. Let's see if we can get Sean Finnegan to beat Scarpino this month, huh? That's all I want.
It's not going to happen.
No, not going to happen?
Nothing beats Scarpino. Nothing.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being Nothing Beats Scarpino.